One of the impromptu matches that we had for this pay-per-view was Fandango against The Miz, something that I had mentioned beforehand. It seemed like they were building up to a match, but then they just didn't announce it. So it was kind of awkward. And then they started doing it on Raw and on SmackDown, so it seemed like, oh well, I guess they're just kind of doing it here and they're going to forget about it when it comes to the pay-per-view. But lo and behold, Fandango's music starts playing. Miz comes out and they have themselves a pretty bland and uninteresting match. It probably would have meant a lot better, would have meant a lot more if they wouldn't have had it several times leading up to the pay per view. But what can you expect? They probably decided that they didn't have enough coverage for the matches and they needed to throw something out there, and this was a feud going on, so we didn't plan ahead. Let's throw it on there anyway. That bothers me, and it always will. I would rather them spend the extra 15 minutes to figure out the plan for the next few weeks and not do this kind of crap. Even if you have the two in tag team matches, it's fine. Just don't have Fandango versus Miz on Raw, and then a tag team match, and then have another match the next week on Raw, then try to put it on a pay-per-view and make people care about it, because they
You
don't.
know, you know what bugs me? Basically, like the day after this match happened, they ended up writing Miz off TV. It was like, couldn't you have just given Fandango the win here?
Oh yeah, that's right. Miz won.
But that means
Yeah,
Fandango would win, and no one wants to see that.
well, I think a majority of us here in this panel want to see it because the guy needs the elevation. And the problem is with all the bullshit that they're doing with him currently, where he keeps walking away from his matches or ends up keeps losing. I don't know whose cornflakes he pissed on, but this guy is he's suffering a losing streak that shouldn't be given to someone of his caliber. I think he's a great athlete. He's got an incredible gimmick that he's playing off of at the moment, and he's doing wonders for his character. And the fact that they keep giving him loss after loss makes no sense. And especially with the fact that Miz got destroyed on television the next day, it was just like, really?
With his awkward ass dad.
Do you know what I mean? It didn't need to happen. Everything that sort of led up to what happened on Raw, it just left me scratching my head thinking, okay, so why give the guy the win? If he was going to get taken off of TV, why give him the win?
Maybe to make him look stronger when Orton takes him out.
But it didn't. It didn't make him look stronger at all. It just made him look just.
No, it didn't,
It,
but I could.
he's like the Kofi. He's not even Kofi's level anymore. The Miz is just gone so far down on the totem pole that he doesn't matter.
You know what wouldn't surprise me? You know how you said they should have given him the win if he was just going to get written off TV. They probably didn't even know they was going to write Miz off TV till that day. That's how fucking last minute bookings they are. Like, you hear stories all the time that Vince has ordered all the writers to rewrite the show 2 hours before it goes on air.
You know, I was watching a history of WWE timeline on using legal means with KFAB commentary, and it had Kevin Nash in it, and he was talking about the fact there was a different. No, it wasn't the Kevin Nash one. It was the Val Venus, Sean Morley one. And he was talking about the difference between WWE's booking now and their booking when they had Russo. And there was one sort of credit he gave Russo, which was the fact that he managed to find spots for everybody on the card. Like, literally every person, even how low they are on the totem pole, managed to have a storyline that kept their character going. And that's a lot. I'm not saying Russo's a genius, but I think that's a lot of what the WWE is missing at the moment, where they tend to shove everybody else aside who's not the WWE champion, or who's basically devaluing every other title down below that one, and that needs to kind of stop. I keep touting this and I keep talking about this and trying to advocate it. Everybody needs a storyline. Everything needs to matter. And the problem with this whole Miz Fandango situation was it wasn't built up very well, where you had these two characters. Yeah, they had a bit of an issue. Miz kept stealing his clothes for some weird reason. But that was it. It never led up to a big match. There was nothing that was going on. This just seemed extremely bog standard. And I think even, I don't know it was actually you, Tony, who was saying that the majority of matches didn't even feel good enough to be on Raw. I would class this as one of those matches.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, that's me on Miz and Fandango.
What do you think, Peyton?
Oh, he's done? Oh, okay. I didn't know there was that much to talk about that match. It wasn't supposed to happen. It happened. It wasn't very good. The only positive reaction out of the whole thing I heard is when Fandango's music first started playing, and people were like, "Oh shit, we get to see Fandango!" And then the Miz's music started playing, and it's like, "Oh shit, we got to watch the Miz." And then it was all downhill from there.
Oh, what do you think, Steven? Were you guys excited that this match kind of happened out of nowhere?
Literally, the thought that went through my head was, I wasted my piss on RVD's entrance when I could have done it during this match. Unfortunately, I just drank way too much soda and wasted movement. But as far as the match goes, it was fucking boring as hell. Not one person gave a shit. And I'm just not into Fandango at all, so that's the only saving grace for me is that he didn't win.
That's what happens, WWE, when you don't actually put a whole lot of effort into what you got for the pay-per-views. And we're going to move on. Handicap elimination match. CM Punk versus Paul Heyman and Curtis Axel.